Hey everyone, grab a coffee, pull up a chair, and welcome to another Mike is Outside Research Review Explainer. It is so great to have you here with me today. Think of this as just a friend-to-friend chat, where we get to, totally geek out over some incredibly fascinating science about the great outdoors. Today, we're talking about our local parks. We absolutely love them, we need them for our mental and physical health, but let's be honest for a second. Sometimes they can feel a little off, right? We're going to explore the exact reasons why that happens, breaking down the physical, personal, and social elements that make us feel either totally secure or totally stressed out when we step into nature.
Okay, let's dive into this. We are looking at a brand new, incredibly comprehensive 2026 scoping review published right in the World Leisure Journal. The researchers, Wang Liu, Nurhusailan Hussain, and Shireen Faris Abdul Shakur, set out to investigate a very specific, deeply psychological phenomenon. They wanted to know why we sometimes feel intensely uneasy in green spaces that were quite literally built for our relaxation. Like, what specific attributes in a park environment are actually messing with our perception of safety? And really, it brings us to this core, almost paradoxical question. Why do beautiful parks sometimes feel so creepy? Think about it. We know the actual benefits of parks are immense, right? They reduce climate impacts, they promote biodiversity, relieve our stress, and absolutely help restore mental fatigue. But running right alongside all those wonderful benefits is this creeping sense of the fear of crime. And the crazy thing is, this fear doesn't even have to be based on actual statistics or crime rates. Just the sheer perception of insecurity can totally ruin the outdoor experience for everyday folks, which effectively erases all those amazing restorative health benefits we're supposed to be getting.
So to figure out exactly what triggers our internal alarm bells in nature, the researchers didn't just look at one or two local spots. No, they cast a massive net. 44! That is the exact number of empirical studies published between 2014 and 2024 that they meticulously reviewed and synthesized for this paper. They literally filtered through thousands of articles to find the ones that specifically zeroed in on individual subjective perceptions of safety and the physical attributes within parks that actually drive those feelings.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how much of a global phenomenon this really is. This research isn't isolated to one culture or one specific climate. It spans across the entire globe. While there's a massive concentration of studies coming out of Poland and the USA, it also heavily features research from China, Sweden, Iran, and Malaysia. Basically, no matter where we live in the world, the human brain evaluates the safety of a natural environment using remarkably similar criteria.
Section 1. The science of safety. Perception versus reality. To truly grasp this, we have to understand the massive gap between statistical risk and our perceived safety. A perfect example of this is a concept from 1975 called the prospect sanctuary theory, which was actually used in 21 of the studies they reviewed. The theory basically says that our brains evolved to evaluate physical landscapes purely for survival. We love prospect, meaning open environments that give us a broad, clear view of our surroundings so we can see what's coming our way. On the flip side, we are naturally wary of too much sanctuary, areas with dense vegetation or high enclosure. A little shelter is nice, sure, but too much of it makes us feel like potential criminals or even wild animals have a perfect place to hide and jump out at us. Building on how our environment shapes our emotions, we have CPTED, or Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design. This is an incredibly smart concept, proving that the very way a physical space is built and maintained directly influences human behavior and, of course, our perception of danger. It suggests that crime isn't just about bad people doing bad things, it's also about environments that provide the opportunity for crime. If a park has high visual permeability, meaning you can actually see through the trees and bushes easily, and clear physical accessibility, your brain instantly registers it as safe.
Section 2. Park Professionals Designing Safe Spaces.
So the crucial point is, if you build or manage parks for a living, you must actively control these physical factors to stop people from feeling threatened. Vegetation design is huge. You have to manage density so you don't accidentally create those scary sanctuary hiding spots we've just talked about. Lighting systems must be maintained to ensure visibility at night, obviously. The research also heavily highlighted the importance of electronic monitoring devices, clear road layouts, and really strict park maintenance. Actually, even small signs of physical decay, often called the broken windows theory, like litter or graffiti, instantly signal to our primitive brains that a space is unmanaged and therefore super dangerous. Section 3. Personal impact. Navigating parks. Let's move to and see how this builds a complete picture. Because the physical design of the park, that is only one piece of the puzzle.
The review found that perceived safety is an incredibly complex phenomenon where our internal personal factors collide directly with external social factors. It's this messy interplay of who we are mixed with who else is in the park with us that ultimately dictates our fear levels on any given day.
When we look at personal factors, things like our age or maybe past victimization, there is one single trait that stands out above all the rest. The research clearly shows that gender is a massive predictor of fear. In fact, fully 50% of the 44 reviewed studies specifically highlighted gender. The data unequivocally shows that women generally experience a significantly higher fear of crime in these green spaces compared to men. And this heightened perception of risk fundamentally alters how, when, and even if women use certain park facilities.
Then, we add the social environment into the mix. These are the external triggers that literally instantly ruin the restorative effects of nature. Nearly 40% of the studies highlighted the severe negative impact of chaotic crowds and uncivilized behavior. We are talking about public drinking, drug use, vandalism, or even just loud, unpredictable groups roaming around. It's fascinating. One study out of Hong Kong even noted that unsolicited chatting from strangers or people taking candid photos drastically spiked respondents' fear levels. When the social vibe feels chaotic, the physical beauty of the park just doesn't even matter to our brains anymore.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the flip side to those social factors. One respondent perfectly captured this, saying, "I don't feel unsafe there, where there are other people walking dogs and it's lit up and there's more people moving about." Right? The presence of normal, non-threatening park goers, like families having a picnic, joggers, or people just walking their dogs, acts as this powerful social safety blanket. The research shows that when we see other people engaging in safe, predictable activities, it actively lowers our stress and massively enhances our own perception of safety. We essentially crowdsource our sense of security from the normal people around us.
Section 4. The takeaway. Don't avoid nature.
So we've broken down the physical layout, personal traits, and social dynamics, and the ultimate finding here is honestly a bit of a wake-up call. When we allow these poorly designed spaces or chaotic social elements to make us feel chronically unsafe, the negative consequences are profound. The researchers emphasize that the real risk of this fear is that we end up avoiding nature entirely. We just stay inside, we alter our daily habits, and we miss out on the absolutely crucial physical, psychological, and community benefits that green spaces provide. Sometimes, the toll of missing out on nature is actually way worse for our long-term health than the real statistical risks of the park itself.
So I want to leave you with this provocative thought. If our physical and social environments so heavily shape our internal fear, how can you change the way you navigate your local park tomorrow? Can you advocate for better lighting in your neighborhood, or maybe consciously decide to visit when the park is full of those reassuring dog walkers? It's definitely something to think about the next time you step outside. Thank you so much for joining me for this friend-to-friend deep dive. If you enjoyed this explainer, please make sure to check out the other videos as part of this Mike is Outside research review series. Stay curious, stay safe out there, and I will catch you in the next one.